From the experiences of the past, we learn lessons for the future. A dictum by John Quincy Adams, the sixth president of the United States of America. Ladies and gentlemen, my talk today is going to be built upon the inner dimensions of leadership that have actually helped me ideate my success. Having grown in an army environment, I would rather call it an inclusive environment. I've moved cities every 2.5 years. I've changed and adjusted myself to the norms of various institutions which imparted education and contributed to my learning abilities. I've had to make new friends. I've also had to create first impressions all over again. I've weathered it all. In fact, my respect for diverse ideas and different viewpoints actually comes from that environment. I'm also sure that many people like me have grown up in that environment. Rather, many women across the country have grown up in that environment. Yet, globally, less than 1/3 of all leadership roles are inhabited by women, majority of them at entry-level management positions. In my current company, we did a survey with our clients and their organizations in India and abroad, and we realized that more than 53% of leaders feel stagnated in their current roles because of lack of innovative ideas. 14% of CEOs worldwide, globally, and this is as per a latest report by E&Y, actually feel that they do not have able teams to execute their ideas. That brings me to the talk today. That what is it that supports the process of ideation? The center point of our theme at TEDxYouth at AUS. Ladies and gentlemen, I will be sharing 3 professional experiences of my life where I use these inner dimensions to actually curate and ideate my success. And in that endeavor, I would be hoping to leave you all with some food for thought, because your journey has just started. The first inner dimension, my dear friends, is social capital. As a leader today, we need to understand that we need to have a wider network of influence beyond our immediate network. And that in itself is actually being fueled by the era of disruption and digital transformation. Our youngsters today are very adept with social networking. But we all need to, across generational diversity, cope up with it, because that is the only way to stay ahead of the curve. In fact, when I was doing my PhD, I submitted my hypothesis where I juxtaposed the leadership skills and the management skills. And I realized that while managers are all about execution, leaders are all about inspirational ideas. So how do we reach out these ideas beyond our network? The answer is build your social capital. For all those who are coming from my generation, we are competing with the young millennial leaders today. And therefore, we need to work harder, faster, stronger to be the inspiration, not just in an offline world, but also an online world. This brings me to my first story. This was about 2 years back. My business partner and I, we were brainstorming, and we realized that our youth today is actually watching videos of icons like Mark Zuckerberg, Warren Buffett, Bill Gates, Paul Schmidt, to seek inspiration. But we also realized that it is not with their talks that they will actually get inspiration, because the Indian entrepreneur ecosystem in a developing economy is very different from what is available outside in developed economy. So we thought, why don't we create our own Indian superheroes? And therefore, we brought in a YouTube channel called the CEO's Chair, where we bring in Indian CEOs from around the world and from our country who've had an inspirational story, not to celebrate their success, but actually highlight the challenges, the sacrifices that they've had to make to reach to the leadership position, so that our youngsters, our youth today, get inspired to ideate their success. There you go, ladies and gentlemen. Everything begins with an idea. The second inner dimension that I'd like to talk about is public speaking. Gone are the days when public speaking was only about auditorium talks. It was only about politicians trying to impress their voters. Today, public speaking as a skill has crept into our boardrooms, investor pitches, client meetings, calls, everywhere. In fact, social gatherings as well. Now, if public speaking is so important, it's sad that a lot of leadership position people feel stagnated and limited in their roles because they cannot articulate their value to the organization in a very adept manner. And this is where people like me come in, because we help them reach their potential, communicate their potential, communicate the value that they actually bring to the table, to the organizations, to their customers, to their clients. Public speaking is very dear to me because today, with 2 decades of experience in public speaking, I've reached where I am. In fact, this platform is because of the fact that I am a public speaker. I'll take you back to my story because I had this great opportunity of hosting Athens Olympics live on TV, Indian television. And this was in 2004. 12 years later, I had another opportunity of hosting Rio Olympics live for Star Sports, our last Olympics. But guess what? I was a personal brand to reckon with. I had a digital legacy. Yet, for 2 years in a row, I had to go to Bombay and audition one after the other to grab the opportunity to create my success story with Rio Olympics 2016 live. And for those of you who probably are not privy with the television industry, allow me to share how it actually happens. So when you're a TV anchor for a live program, you have 3 to 7 cameras anywhere in between. I had 5 cameras facing me. You have a talk back in your ear because you have 3 people constantly talking to you from the production control room. You have a studio guest, and you have to memorize and be absolutely crewed up on how many Indians across all the sports are representing our country and qualifying in the heats. There you go. Had it not been for the skill of public speaking, I wouldn't have been able to bag that opportunity. And I'm the only Indian woman in India to have hosted Olympics live twice within a span of 15 years for our country. Thank you. These 2 skills, public speaking and building a social capital. The third one is extremely critical, my dear friends. And that inner dimension, if you want to be a leader in your life, is called connected thinking. What is connected thinking? In my opinion, connected thinking is how you connect the dots. The ability to merge concepts across disciplines, and the ability to link important ideas across industries. Today, the lines are getting blurry. The offline worlds are actually getting merged into online worlds. Perception has become reality. Therefore, connected thinking helps you have a 360-degree view, not just on your personality, but also to all the businesses that you're associated with. In my life, I have built my profile because I was a connected thinker. Everything that I have done today, from a freelancer to a managing director, it has all been built on the blocks of connected thinking. Allow me to take you back in time to 2008, when I actually decided to begin my first company. And the transition from a freelance to actually a managing director was far from easy. It sounds great, but those who are first-time entrepreneurs, they will totally relate to this, that what happens in our management books is very different from what happens in real life. When I had to do that, I created a business plan, and it was a sultry afternoon in Delhi when I went up to my father to pitch for the seed funding. And being from the army, my mother an educationist, they grilled me, of course. But when I managed to convince them that what I wanted to do, I got their support to start my first company, whose name I found in the management books. Philip Kotler spoke about Kaizen philosophy of life, which is synonymous to continuous improvement, and that is very close to my heart as a principle. So my first company was called Kaizen Talent Management. And I was one of the pioneers of bringing event management education to the country. At that point in time, event management was absolutely considered a vocational career. It was so difficult for me to go to the universities, go to UGC offices, go to everybody to convince them that it is a management subject. And I know a lot of youngsters, a lot of youth during that time was getting very enamored with the whole glamour that it brought with it. But there is a lot of hard work that goes behind the scenes. Today, this event is being executed because there are so many event management skills at play behind the screens to make us look good and deliver our best. So I managed to go to a renowned university and convince them to identify and ratify my curriculum and allow me to be the first Indian in India to offer degree programs in event management education. With bachelor's and master's degrees, I managed to place a lot of my students, and today it's such a delight and pleasure, whether it is airports, whether it is events, when I bump into my alumni, and all of them are now handling multi-million-dollar events in India and around the world. It is truly a privilege to meet them and to see how youngsters have actually taken that opportunity and converted them into a full-fledged career. In 2013, I leased my intellectual property rights to a renowned group of institutions and helped them set up their own event management school. Well, ladies and gentlemen, everything began with an idea. So coming back to today's theme, once again, it is my privilege to inspire you all. The process of ideation has inner dimensions, and it's hinged on these principles of making it a success. My request to you is that always remember that a philosopher contemplates ideas, a teacher energizes ideas, but a student generates ideas. So be a student for life. Keep generating ideas. Keep doing more, dream more, be more, and doing your best to ideate your success. Thank you so much for your patience. Have a great day.